Space Marines are mankind's ultimate warriors, superhuman masters of combat created with the seed of the Emperor to hold back the forces that seek to destroy the Imperium of man. These super soldiers are unwavering in their commitment to their chapters, their brothers and their Emperor, bringing death to the enemies of man for thousands of years. But in the world of 40,000, nothing is safe from the corruption of chaos. Space Marines can become Chaos Space Marines through a combination of psychological manipulation, corruption by the forces of chaos, and betrayal of the Imperium. The transformation from loyal warrior of the Emperor to a heretic serving the dark gods often involves a series of events that can vary from individual to individual or entire legions. Space Marines may come into contact with the warp or entities of chaos during their battles. The warp is a parallel dimension of pure psychic energy, home to the four chaos gods, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. Prolonged exposure can lead to madness, visions, and even whispers from these dark gods, sowing doubt and corruption in their minds. Many Chaos Space Marines turn from the Imperium due to feelings of betrayal, disillusionment, or frustration with the Emperor or the Imperium's bureaucratic institutions. Some may feel abandoned by the Imperium or believe they deserve more power or recognition than they've been given. Others grow angry at the harshness of imperial rule, seeing the Imperium as corrupt or oppressive. Whether this comes from the Space Marine individual or through the influence of chaos is never clear. For example, many of the original Chaos Space Marine legions turned to chaos during the Horus Heresy, a galaxy-wide civil war sparked by the Warmaster Horus's rebellion against the Emperor. Horus and his followers became embittered by the Emperor's perceived neglect, believing that they could rule better with the power of chaos. Space Marines are susceptible to psychic influences, particularly those of powerful entities within the warp. Some begin to experience visions, dreams, or hallucinations through which chaos slowly poisons their minds. These visions may promise them power, immortality, or the realization of personal ambitions, luring them into making pacts with the Chaos gods. Chaos often tempts Space Marines with promises of power, strength, or immortality. The gods of chaos may bestow them with gifts, such as increased strength, arcane knowledge, or psychic abilities. As the Space Marine accepts more of these gifts, they become further enmeshed in chaos's web, leading them down a path of irreversible corruption. As Space Marines fall further under the sway of chaos, their bodies may begin to mutate due to prolonged exposure to the energies of the warp. These mutations can range from minor physical alterations to grotesque, monstrous transformations, turning them into chaos spawn if the corruption overtakes them completely. Chaos Marines who remain favored by the gods may receive blessings in the form of demonhood, where they are transformed into near-immortal demon princes. On the other hand, those who displease the gods might be cast into a horrific, mindless existence as chaos spawn, their bodies twisted and broken by uncontrollable mutations. Many Space Marines actively participate in dark rituals and make pacts with the Chaos gods to gain power. These rituals often involve sacrifices, sorcery, and worship of chaos, which binds them more tightly to the ruinous powers. As they forsake their loyalty to the Emperor, they pledge their allegiance to the gods of chaos and their demonic servants. Once a Space Marine falls to chaos, they often join a Chaos warband or legion, such as the Black Legion led by Abaddon the Despoiler or the World Eaters dedicated to Khorne. Some may form their own warbands, roaming the galaxy as renegades. These warbands frequently wage war against the Imperium, seeking revenge or power through bloodshed, plunder, or conquest. The most famous example of loyal Space Marines turning into Chaos Space Marines occurred during the Horus Heresy. Horus, the Emperor's favored son and warmaster, was seduced by the promises of chaos. He convinced half of the Space Marine legions to join him in rebellion against the Emperor. These legions, including the Word-Bearers, World Eaters, Death Guard, and Thousand Sons, were twisted by chaos over time, turning into the Chaos Space Marines that plague the galaxy in the current timeline of Warhammer 40,000. In summary, Space Marines can become Chaos Space Marines through a mixture of exposure to chaos, disillusionment with the Imperium, temptation by the Chaos Gods, and eventually physical and psychic corruption. They forsake their oaths to the Emperor and join the forces of chaos, fighting for their new Dark Masters in eternal war and turning mankind's ultimate weapons into terrifying, relentless tools of chaos. As terrifying as this sounds, it is only one of unimaginable terrors in the dark future of eternal war.